All right, and now the conclusion of Logan B. Adair presents the franchise featuring Don Mancini and the D-Train, Daniel Ehrenberg. That's right, that's me. That's the voice you're currently hearing. And make some noise over there, Henry Papali.
Yo, what's up, fellas? Heidi ho, fellas and ladies. It's Heidi ho. It's Chucky time. We're wrapping up our coverage with the Cult of Chucky.
Yeah,
and
get ready to feel a little prick. That was the tagline of Cult of Chucky. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And then we went out to the theaters and we saw the remake.
Boy, did we ever.
We really, really did.
Mm-hmm. That was hours of my life that I just spent.
It was hugely time-consuming for me. I can't even... Yeah, it's weird because in New York, it's very time-consuming too, because to get anywhere, you got to take a train. You're all over the city. You could be in a different borough. You know, in Jersey, it's totally different, but it's exactly equidistant in terms of your time because you have to fucking drive everywhere. As Dan knows, he's been down here, and especially when something hasn't done particularly amazing at the box office, so you have to find where to go see it.
I'll tell you what, the BO on this new Child's Play movie was less than Buffo.
I completely believe that.
Yeah,
I believe it. Anyway, welcome everybody to the franchise, to episode 163. Close.
Damn it! Oh, I really thought I had that.
Yeah, 162.
Okay.
Yeah,
162.
Right.
I like to hear it. And we're talking about Cult of Chucky, the latest and hopefully not last of the Don Mancini Child's Play run, and also Child's Play, the new remake by Lars Klevberg. All right, Big H.
Yes, sir.
You ready to get going on this?
I am ready, my friend.
All right, well, it's simple enough, man. Cult of Chucky. It was released Oct 3, 2017. It's written and directed by Don Mancini, of course, and it is back over there straight to VOD. Okay?
Yep.
All your favorites from the last one are back. Fiona Dourif. That little girl. All your favorites from the rest of the franchise are back.
Right.
Alex Vincent as Andy Barclay is back. Tiffany Tilly is back. Jennifer Tilly, Tiffany Tilly.
Christine Elise is back as Kyle.
Really?
I knew this would happen again.
Wait, there's a closing credit? Close credits?
Another one.
God damn it!
I'm telling you, I didn't know either, and I found it on YouTube. Yep. Wasn't on my cut that I watched.
It wasn't. This one I checked, so this one was not on the cut I watched.
It was streaming on Netflix. That's where I watched
Yeah, that's where I watched it too. I think Curse, I actually watched like the cut that had the post-credit sequence, and I just didn't know. But this one, yeah, the Netflix cut does not have anything after the credits.
It does not. It was, again, me looking at the summary on Wiki and seeing it, and I was like, motherfucker.
All right, well, you'll tell me at the end this time.
Sure.
Okay. Let's get our bearings over here on Cult of Chucky. But first, #but first, as Julie Chen might say. Julie Chen Moonves, excuse me. She's going by that rapey last name now. So let's talk about Cult of Chucky, and let us start with a 2017 list.
Yeah. Top 10 movies of 2017.
Now, Logan B. Adair, our benefactor of these Child's Play episodes, I will say recently tweeted something that I took note of that said in 20 years, he believes 2017 will be looked at similarly to the way we look at 1999.
Interesting.
As a great movie year. And I got to tell you, looking at this top 10 list, I think he may be right.
Well, I mean, it is a hell of a year. I feel like
I think 17 might be the strongest of the 2010s.
Of the 2010, I was going to say. I mean, I don't know. That's a.
I think it's 2010 2010 maybe, followed by the and this
know,
year.
right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I was thinking 2010 and 2011 was pretty solid too.
I think 17's better than 11.
I don't have my.
I'd have to
11
go
list.
back and like look at all the years.
Exactly.
But
But you know what? What I like is the prediction.
yeah, what I like is a nice hot take from Logan.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do on this show. So I love that he's in the spirit, symbiotic with us. It's pretty
Also,
cool.
Logan, you might not know this about me. When I was in elementary school, I told everybody in my elementary school class that I was legally changing my name to Logan, and I tried to make that a thing.
Wow. how'd that pay off?
Nobody would call me that.
Nobody would do it.
I really wanted them to. I was trying to change my name from Daniel Ehrenberg to Logan Gray because I was super
Logan
into the X-Men,
Gray.
and I thought that was a pretty badass name.
Wow. Logan Gray.
How about that?
All right.
All right, what's your number 10 movie of 2017?
Never knew that.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Okay. All right. My number 10
I also
movie-
went through a period where I was trying to get the Aaron out of there, and I was going by Daniel Berg. At the time I was really into Kevin Smith, Peter Berg. I thought the way to go was a 3-syllable name.
So, you wanted to be more Jewish, I'd say. You wanted to be more Jewish.
I would argue that's less Jewish.
Berg?
Just the word Berg. I think Berg at the end of a long word is Jewier than just Berg.
That's possible.
I don't know if Peter Berg is Jewish.
I'll tell you right away, though, dude, when I met you, I thought your name was just German. I mean, you could have been anything. Something about the Aaron in there, it didn't
Threw
clue
you
me
off,
in.
huh?
Yeah, it did.
Mhm.
But then within 10 seconds, I think you told me you were Jewish. So
Maybe I should have just popped an umlaut on there. Although I don't want to be a part
you
of
don't.
the Germans either.
I would imagine no.
They're enemies of my people.
Yeah, not the ideal.
Yeah,
Not the ideal nationality for a Jewish.
they
person.
locked us up behind the fence, America style.
That's all they did. That's
Yeah.
all they did. Hey, they locked us up.
Uh-huh.
Those damn Germans.
What's your number 10 movie of 2017?
Mother.
Okay, mine's I, Tanya.
Great movie.
Number
My
9?
Number 9 is the great documentary Icarus.
And mine is Mother.
All right. Making its list debut. A movie that I just viewed and absolutely loved. I might have seen this movie anyway, but Dan pushed it, and boy, was he right. Number 8. That movie is Molly's Game.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't love that movie, and that's not even on my top 10 list, but
I didn't think it was, yeah.
it's a very, very good Aaron Sorkin script and a good Chastain performance. I think one of her best. And, yeah, good movie. Happy you liked it.
Loved it, dude. I mean, I think maybe I even liked it more than you just because of, like, it dealt, like, with the poker element.
Oh,
and-
yeah, you're a poker guy. I think more and more over the years, Henry, you're becoming a Sorkin guy, too.
I absolutely am. You're totally right. I mean, when I think Moneyball might have been Social Network and Moneyball might have been sort of turning points for me, you know?
That's right. Yeah, because I was into him from, like West Wing and Sports Night and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You've been with him forever. I mean, I didn't know I was. I always liked A Few Good Men. But anyway, it's fucking great.
All right,
it's
cool.
his directorial debut, and it's impressive for that, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks good. I think he learned a lot from Fincher. There's some Fincher touches.
Well, I'm going to be viewing it again, and I will take a look at that. I didn't even notice, but you very well could be right. Maybe some of that lighting.
Yeah, a little bit of that, and also some of his scene setting, like his blocking.
Ah,
Pay attention to the blocking.
I will. Interesting. Okay.
My number 8 is Brigsby Bear.
Okay. My number 7 is the name Dan couldn't quite get to catch on, and that is Logan.
Yeah. My number 7's A Ghost Story.
All right. My number 6 is Get Out.
My number 6 is Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oof. All right. And here we go.
slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, when the puck gets close to the circle in curling, that really is exciting.
Yeah, I know. It's a very tense moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 5.
Thinking about it gives you chills.
Sure. My number 5 is Stronger.
Right. I remember this list of yours. It's a little odd for you, this list. It's
Yeah,
very-
well, this is another thing about 2017, Hank. Our lists are very different, but your list doesn't bother me even because it's a strong year.
Yeah, oh, well, that's rare in itself. Yeah. So far, I think we only share one movie. Number 4 for me, Dunkirk.
Ugh. And I'm out on your list. My number 4 is Lady Bird.
Okay. My number 3 is the great documentary LA 92.
My number 3 is The Florida Project.
All right. My number 2 is Hostels.
Ugh. Yeah, you're 10 to 5. 10 to 6 or 10 to 5 is like way better than your top liners.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
My number 2 is Get Out.
The number 1 movie of 2017 is Phantom Thread.
Agreed. Okay, so Cult of Chucky. Let's talk about it. Now, you and I, we really liked the last Child's Play movie, you might remember.
I loved it.
Yeah, I know, Henry. You loved it.
I did. And it's funny how much we were talking about it last week so enthusiastically, and I'm still surprised at your 3-star rating of that movie.
I stand by it.
I know.
A few of our listeners watched it this week. I happened to notice on Twitter.
Good.
Yeah. So let me know what you thought. Whatever. Did it live up to our hype? Cult of Chucky is the direct follow-up to Curse of Chucky, the House of Chucky. And I would argue a slightly lesser follow-up, but still on the strong side for Don Mancini.
I would say exactly what you said. It is, but I would add this. I'd say it's a much lesser follow-up.
Okay, yeah.
I was very disappointed because I was so... Actually, I wouldn't hesitate to use the word a tad excited.
I was too. And I'll tell you what, Henry. I was outright confused at a lot of different points.
Yeah, I was
and
too.
I'm not sure I ever got a handle on it. Like I'm still, after watching Cult of Chucky, not sure I get it.
Yep, I understand. It's a simple thing of the plot, maybe not just being. I don't know. I mean, either
I think Mancini said that his initial idea for Child's Play 3 was an army of Chuckies, and they couldn't do it for whatever reason, and so he decided to bring it back for this film. And I think this is a case of a writer hanging on to an idea that isn't as good an idea as he thought it was.
I think that's probably right. I think that's right, because honestly, I was on board with this movie for maybe the first 40 minutes. I was kind of digging it, and
I dug it.
but then it was just started to really almost as the time passed, I literally was going down and down in my star ratings and in my enthusiasm for the film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it, and whatever. I would still think it's around the 3 range. But definitely not in the same league as Curse. It is. Let's talk it through, Henry. Maybe we can figure it out.
Yeah.
So it starts out with Alex Vincent, actually, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. He has the head of Chucky,
which I really liked, actually.
It was funny. Yeah.
He's like he's sort of a sociopath at this point, which makes sense because he has a lot of baggage, as we've discussed, talking about the first 3 Child's Play movies. Yeah. So Andy Barclay, it starts with him on a date and it's a girl he's been seeing for a while, and I guess the girl Googled him and found out that he thinks he's been attacked by a killer doll.
Yeah, I actually like that scene.
Yeah, me too.
It's a good scene. Yeah,
me too. It's a good way to start the movie. You know what the problem is, I think, maybe, is that that's a really interesting setup for the Andy Barclay character. And as fun as it is to see Alex Vincent, the fucking kid, back in the role as an adult, and he aged normal, and he's not fat or like repulsive, like he's a totally watchable screen presence. But one thing he's not is an actor. And
continue.
Listen, to me, the directing in this movie, like I feel like Mancini directed this guy as much as he must have been directed as a child.
Yeah, probably. I mean, to me, I guess we watch so many movies. It's sometimes the acting chops of certain people blend in or stick out. He didn't stick out to me as a terrible actor.
He stuck out to me, Henry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean by sort of his pedantic line readings, and it's kind of like a
little what, Henry? Are you gonna do this again? Is this gonna be your fucking connection again? All right.
So he does these sort of pedantic rhyme leadings. Sure, rhyme leadings. And, but...
It's going well tonight.
Yes. But I think I don't know. I didn't find him distractingly bad. That's the biggest compliment.
Because he's not in the movie that much. What I'm saying is... This mental institution stuff is fine, but that's a B plot. I think your A plot in this movie should be grown-up Andy Barclay. That's the most interesting dynamic, with him torturing this fucking Chucky head. That's cool. So
it is cool.
So I'm sorry, Alex Vincent, but shit, can Alex Vincent hire an actor?
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't feel that bad about him, but I don't know how far they could have gotten on him. I mean, they definitely could have done something with it. I don't know, him torturing Chucky for 90 minutes would have worked. But I see what you're saying, like things around that, right around that is the main plot. But clearly they wanted to bring you into, I think, not only did Mancini want to do the multiple Chucky thing, I think he really wanted to make one of these in an insane asylum.
I also think at this point, the budgets for these movies are so non-existent that he has to he's forced to structure all these movies like fucking bottle episodes now.
Yeah.
So it was, fucking House of Chucky. Now it's, Chucky's Asylum.
Right. Yeah, you're right. So just a building with some rooms he can film in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap, man.
It looks good. It still looks good. I mean, he's clearly using good film stock.
All right. Big compliment on the film stock from Henry. Yeah. MVP. So, he's anyway been broken up with because she Googled him, and he's torturing Chucky with like a fucking blowtorch or something, and it's pretty sweet. But then we go away from that for too long a time. We should be cutting back and forth. We don't revisit Andy for like an hour.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that's almost like some kind of setup that doesn't really pay off until like 3/4 in to the end.
So this is a movie series. The movie franchise that we're covering now, Child's Play, is about a doll who has been possessed by a serial killer, Charles Lee Ray. Okay, that's the hook.
Yep.
And today we're going to be talking about two movies that ignore the hook, which is a problem.
I agree with the second one. What in do they now? How do you mean they ignore it in Cult?
So the way that we are led to believe, we followed the Chucky doll through 6 movies, right? And where we left him at the end of Curse of Chucky was that Tiffany had gone and gotten him from that house and sent him to Andy, and Andy opened up the thing and shot him, right?
Correct. Okay. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So fine. That leads me to believe that this head that he's torturing, that's Chucky.
Correct.
Okay. So, but then we get 2 more Chuckies in the
Yeah.
mental institution.
Yes,
So what the fuck?
I agree, and that's where
What does that mean?
I don't know what it
Who
means.
are they? Are they possessed also by Charles Lee Ray? How is that possible?
I don't know.
There's a fucking body swap movie. You can't have the body. You can't have like one dude in 3 bodies.
Yeah, I didn't really get it either.
If it's that fucking easy to transfer his essence from body to body, then do it to a human, which he
Right.
eventually does.
Correct.
But then there's like a human Charles Lee Ray and a Tiffany and like 9 other Chuckies and the seed of Chucky at the end of the movie. It's like, get it
Yeah.
together. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I agree, because one of the cool parts about it of the whole series was Chucky's frustration and his mission to get into a human. So,
This is the plot thread that we have
Right.
been following for almost 30 years.
right, and so to all of a sudden make it like a very simple spell to just like it's like 5 words now. We've eliminated most of it, and then I mean, who is the spell coming from? Is it now from Tilly to these other dolls, and then they're being dropped off after she's already, you know what I mean?
But
she
then
doesn't
one of
really-
the dolls does it to another of the dolls.
Exactly. I know. It's you're playing. He's playing fast and loose with kind of his own rules that he set up.
And why do that? You've managed to be consistent with this shit
Yeah.
for 6 movies, which we have talked about being one of the things that we actually appreciate about this franchise. Well, I mean, we sit here. This is what we do with our fucking lives for the past 3 years. Is more than 3 years done? Like watched these franchises and tracked them, and almost none of them make any sense. So we finally came across one that makes sense, and they're all written by the same guy. So why in the 7th one throw away the fucking game?
I know. That's a really good point, dude. I don't know. It's very strange. I mean, it produces very mixed results because, and I say mixed because I feel like some of the moments are interesting in that they're confusing in a good way. Like you're not sure if some human is actually possessed and they're not.
Momentarily, from moment to moment, I really felt that this movie worked. I liked this movie, but at a certain point, I couldn't follow it. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really understand what I was watching.
Well, it was. That's the main issue, I think, and I mean, for me, it was at least. And the thing is if the beginning, if before all of this, Chucky's head seems to know all of this is going to happen, which implicates that before this movie, before Andy shot him, Chucky went around and did a bunch of soul swapping and all this kind of shit, and it's just kind of like, all right, that's a lot to infer, and it just
This is a fucking serial killer. This is the fucking Lakeshore Strangler or whatever. I mean, he doesn't strangle anybody ever, but he's a murderer. So, like, why are these plans becoming so goddamn Machiavellian? This is a character, Charles Lee Ray, who is quoting from the book Voodoo for Dummies 3 movies ago. Why now do we know these complex fucking spells and we're planning ahead by like 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, if he had known then what he knew now, none of this would make even. It would. I mean, what the fuck?
And why even go into the mental institution to torture Fiona Dorov? Are you trying to become Fiona Dorov?
Well, it would appear so.
Is that what ends up happening? But
Yeah.
Tiffany is Fiona Dorov at the end of the movie, right?
No,
Wait, what happens?
Chucky is her. Because remember, he gets into her, and then he walks out as her acting like Charles Lee Ray, and then they kiss, Jennifer Tilly and her,
Right.
and he's like, well, this is different. She's like, rather, this is different. Yeah, that kind of thing. So.
That was interesting. But, like, I mean, first, before that, he's that, like an orderly or something, right?
Well, no, that's another thing I don't even...
Is that a red herring?
I think it is.
I don't think so. I think he's that guy for a while because they play fucking hide the soul or whatever in the grave.
Right. Multiple Malcolm, yeah. I don't,
Right, multiple Malcolm. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't remember. I do not remember. I'm even looking at the plot right now, and it doesn't even really.
This movie's impenetrable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like this is a totally fun movie to watch casually, but
Yeah.
as a movie that we are now discussing in earnest on a podcast, shit don't work.
No, it doesn't, man. I mean, I'm glad we're hashing it out because I kind of knew. I mean, I thought this already, but it really is becoming even clearer. And but yeah, it's bizarre. I also think it suffers on a different note from some, not just Andy Barclay, Alex Vincent, but a couple of bad performances. Nothing too bad, but I felt like that arsonist, Claire, the one who's kind of always yelling and screaming at
the Asian one.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
I thought she was alright.
I thought she was kind of distracting.
She didn't bother me.
Yeah. And then the old woman with the
yeah, that wasn't great. She thinks she's a ghost because and that's another thing. It's a mental institution movie, so you can make from moment to moment. Don Mancini has the luxury of making these characters as coherent or cognizant of what's happening as he wants them to be.
That's right. He has free reign to make them whatever kind of person.
Yeah, because if ever there's a dumb moment in this movie or a character doing something that like no character would ever do, Don Mancini could be like, well, he's insane. He's in a mental institution.
Now, what did you think of the doctor who turns out to be pretty fucking evil?
Well, this is a trend in horror that I don't like, and it continues worse, I think, in the new remake of Child's Play, is that before we kill people, we have to set them up as like monsters. Only bad people are allowed to die in these movies.
Well,
now.
but yeah. I see what you're saying. Okay, but in this one, you don't think he's bad from the get-go. He does the heel turn.
There's a weird vibe. It's supposed to be a heel turn, but I think they set it up too brightly, really, in the movie.
Oh, it's interesting. I didn't catch that. I didn't get that feeling. Yeah,
there's a weird vibe to that guy. It just seemed like the actor, maybe. Like, if they were really intending this to be like a good guy... Good guy, no pun intended.
Nice.
But I just don't think that's the actor they would have picked.
Yeah, that's true. He kind of has that duplicitous.
Yeah, it's like putting Liam Neeson in a fucking action movie.
Yeah, he kind of has an oily air about him.
He sure does. Yeah, it's not a big surprise to me when he fucking hypnotizes Fiona Dourif and tries to like fuck her.
Yeah, basically.
I did think it was a fun running gag that Chucky thought that dude was a piece of shit, though.
Yeah, I did too. I did too. Like, it's so funny though, because like it was funny and it was a good touch, but it was also a little out of character because I mean everything we know about Chucky, why the fuck would he give a shit? He's a misogynist extraordinaire. I mean that's his forte is killing and abusing women. So
yeah, which also, I mean, anything he does out of character in this movie, I'm thinking, well, is that Chucky? How many Chuckies are there? Who's Chucky?
Yeah, true. Yeah. No clue.
So the movie's about Fiona Dourif's character from the last movie getting put into a mental hospital, which only has one floor and 5 patients. Yeah. And one doctor and one orderly.
Very true.
Named Carlos.
Very nice place. Very nice place. That was what I wanted to bring up. I'm glad you brought that. That was something that I found awkwardly written. Fiona Dourif, I think she does what she can, acting with this task, but I wasn't sure what I was supposed. I go into the movie having watched Curse, right? And then we start with her, and I fully believe she still believes what's going on. But I think that the movie is trying to get the viewer to think she doubts if it was reality or not.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. It's not written that well. Like, I never for a moment, me as a viewer, thought, well, no, she's just pretending, obviously. She's pretending to believe that it was all fake. But I don't think that was his intention. I think he wanted to lead us to believe for at least a little bit that she kind of was she had come to grips that it was all imaginary or
right.
some shit.
That moment where she's like burning Chucky's hand, you can tell like they want you to think, oh, she's starting to question shit. But then there's that other Chucky in there. So like that doesn't convince me. It's probably, hey, if you're burning the other Chucky and he's not screaming, either Chucky's extraordinarily resilient, which he is, or it's the other fucking Chucky doll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
you can't fucking fool me if you put two Chuckies in there. One of them's gonna be a killer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And if the twist is that both of them are killers, that's not a twist. It doesn't make sense. No. You can't spring new voodoo curses on me in part 7, motherfucker.
Well, I agree, and also, you know, the beauty of the whole franchise has been there's kind of a one and only Chucky, and by the time of Bride, there's a one and only Tiffany, but now there's like another Tiffany and a Jennifer Tilly who's possessed, and a bunch of Chuckies. So it's like, who the fuck? Like, where does this stop? That's the problem, you know. And I thought that at the end of the movie, it was like, it would have been better to see the two of them walk out together, Fiona Dorff and Jennifer Tilly, if then you knew, okay, that's it, it's them, and everyone else is gone. But
are they all going to absorb each other?
I don't know. There's a lot of in these. I'm sure that word, you know, if you've seen any of these plot summaries, the word absorb is used a lot. Absorbing into the soul. Then he absorbs her into the soul. She absorbs Jennifer. What? Okay. You know, it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen, even though it's a one-man show with Mancini writing and directing. I too many ideas here. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the Alex Vincent idea is a good one. I think the mental hospital one is a good one.
So do I.
And pick one.
And I mean, yeah, or you just interweave the stories of Alex Vincent and Fiona Dorff better.
I don't know. This might be the problem with one guy writing every movie in a franchise because, I mean, at a certain point, you're tired of telling the same story. But, like, what I want is Killer Doll fucking killing people.
Right.
Like, yeah. I don't need further voodoo curse mythology. And now Mancini is talking about maybe doing he's very anti this new remake.
I know.
And he wants to keep going. And so he's trying to set up a Child's Play television series somewhere with Dorff as Chucky. And I just think if what we're going to be doing on that show is voodoo mythology, then I am not into it.
I know. I feel like there might be like flashbacks and we go to visit like Haiti and shit. Maybe we'll see a young Charles Lee Ray like getting into this shit. And, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, this really, I mean, it's a one-trick pony that he's managed to make variations on. But there's only so many variations you can do before the piece is over.
Sure.
You know.
And, again, I don't want to speak too poorly of this movie because it's not the worst in the series.
No.
And it looks good and it's fun. And I thought Fiona Dorff was better than she was in Curse.
I liked her in both, but you're right. I think she's a little, she's given a little more emotions to portray and a little.
I just think she's working on her craft. She's improved. I think the conceit of the movie drags it down some.
Well, I would agree with that. Yep.
I did like when that maniac fucks her in the wheelchair.
That was pretty funny.
Not funny. I thought it was hot.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she got. No, just let me finish. Can't finish.
I like to say something pervy and then throw you under the bus when you agree with me.
Exactly. That seems to be a trend. I love it too. I mean, she's got the postal guy hitting on her in Curse, right? And then so in this one, it's there you go.
We already know she's DTF.
Yeah. Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, bro.
Yep.
What else you want to talk about in this picture? Any good deaths? Any good whatevers?
I mean,
I think the eye thing continued. There's more eye trauma in this movie.
yeah, you're right. There's more eye trauma. There's also another death by skylight/mirror.
Oh my God! I wanted to talk about that. What does Don Mancini think skylights are made of?
I don't.
Anytime a fucking skylight breaks in one of these movies, someone gets impaled.
Well, I think it's, what does he think glass is made out of? Like
he
the
thinks
strongest glass in the world.
he must have the thickest fucking panes of glass in his apartment.
Yeah, right. He's like sitting there. He's like writing. He's typing on his old.
He's looking out the window, thinking that'll really kill somebody.
Yeah, and
I'm like,
maybe
bro,
it's a skylight in a mirror. And it's occurred to him. He's like, if this fucking thing ever fell on me, I'd really be fucked. Let me put it in the script.
Yeah, that's like I think that's Don Mancini's biggest fear.
Yeah. He's got a phobia of glass.
That was a weird scene, too. There's, like, CGI snow that doesn't look good. I thought it was a dream sequence at first.
There's a couple of sequences that I was under the impression they could potentially be dream sequences. Yeah, I don't know. That was the least of my issues with the movie. I mean, I agree with you. And I agree with you, too. And I do want to say I didn't hate this movie at all. It was just another example that happens every once in a while here for me, such a drop in expectations. I go into Curse with somewhat raised expectations because of our friend Aaron, and they were met. So then I got, all right, let's see what the next one, and then it's like, oh, damn. Okay. Well, like nice try, but.
Yeah, so. Word. Okay. Can you tell me what happens at the end with Kyle?
Yeah, you just get a quick shot of Chucky's head at Andy's place because, of course, Andy is now incarcerated against his own will in this asylum. And because he's now obviously taken the fall for all these murders. And the door opens and Christina Elise walks in. Kyle walks in and she's looking badass with like her slick back hair and her black leather jacket, and she just says something like, I don't even remember her line. It was just something like, I think it's time for us to play or some shit like that. And Chucky looks at her, he goes, Kyle?
So they're setting up another one.
Yeah, she's going to be torturing him now, was the implication.
God, that's fucked up that he would so outright set up a fucking sequel and only for less than 2 years later to have Universal pop like shit out a remake.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great. Come on, man. Mancini's been working for 30 fucking years.
I know. It's fucked up. I read a little bit of the story.
It makes me happy. Even whatever. It makes me happy that the new one failed. To be honest. I
understand. Yes, well, we'll get there, and for that reason alone, no critique of the movie yet. I agree.
Okay. Yeah,
Mancini deserves that at least. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, H-Dog. What do you give this one?
I'm gonna give this movie 2 stars.
You know what? I am too. I was gonna go 3, and you talked me down.
All right. Yeah, I can't give it a 3.
Okay, who's your MVP?
My MVP in the movie is Fiona Dorff.
Okay.
I think she's really good in this.
All right. I was sort of between two. So first I'll just give a shout out to Till Dog, Jennifer Tilly, who one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when she came to visit the mental hospital.
That was good.
I thought she was so good in that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then, but my MVP, I'm thinking outside the box, Hank.
All right.
There's an actress in this movie by the name of Elizabeth Rosen.
Yes.
Who plays a character named Madeline. And
that's the old woman, right?
No.
Oh, that's the one who killed her kid.
Yes, she murdered her child, and now she thinks Chucky is her child.
Yes.
And so then she kills Chucky in like a weird psychotic reenactment of when she
Yeah.
murdered her own kid. I thought this actress was really good. I thought she was vulnerable when she needed to be. She was scary when she needed to be. And I thought that was one of the really clever bits in the movie, because one of the things with these Child's Play movies is you want to just say, get rid of the doll.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if there's any concern at all that he's a serial killer, just throw him out.
Just throw him out.
And so the idea that that she was so attached to this doll to the point of like it being her child, that is clever. And I'll also say Cult of Chucky's the last thing on this woman's IMDb page. So let's cast this lady and stuff. She's pretty good.
She's good. She reminded me of Lily Tomlin a little bit.
Yeah, there's Lily Taylor. Lily Taylor. I had the same thing. She reminded me of fucking Lily Taylor. She's a little bit of a poor man's Lily Taylor, but I think still pretty good.
I agree. So that's your MVP. Who's your LVP?
Ooh, she was in a season 2 episode of the X-Files.
Oh, you have to go back and look at that.
Yeah. My LVP in this movie is, you know what? Probably the rapey counselor guy, Dr. Foley.
Because of his acting?
It was too slimy from the start to the point that it didn't fool me. So that's a problem.
Okay. That's very valid. I didn't have that, so I can't really give it to him. I didn't catch that, so I was fooled.
This is also the last thing on his IMDb page. I'm a little more positive about that.
Yeah. I didn't really care about an LVP here because I feel like everybody was kind of doing what they were told to do and did it all right. But in terms of the only one that I just thought was like really standoutish and had a lot of lines was Claire, the
Grace
arsonist
Lynn Kung is the actor's name.
Okay, yeah. She just it just, that to me, that's what Henry notices bad acting. But that to me was, at least for me, that was standing out like a sore thumb.
Hey, she's working, bro. I got news for you.
I know. I learned that. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, good for her, but I just couldn't. It was irritating. Yeah.
All right, let me hear that John Williams theme.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it's only a 1 count. So here we go. All right. Do you remember Nurse Carlos in this movie?
Yes, I sure do. He's a gay, nice man.
That he is.
Yeah.
Played by an actor named Zach Santiago.
They try to get you to think that the slimy rapist guy is nice early in the movie because we see him ask about Carlos's husband. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Yes. I couldn't get a character out of this because he must have been nothing barely in it, but I did get what he was in, and Zach Santiago did make an appearance in Smallville.
Well, yeah, Cult of Chucky, every actor in this movie is just dripping with Canada. They're just this movie sweats maple syrup. So I'm not surprised to hear a Smallville connection.
Woo! It's flipping loonies around. Am I right, my Canadian friends? It's flipping loonies.
Okay.
You don't know what that is, right?
No. You lived in Toronto.
It's a coin dollar that replaced the paper bill. I don't know if they're still in use, but they were huge when I was a kid.
Okay. Loonies, also a good rap group. All right. You want to talk about CP 2019?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this movie, whatever. It was pitched by some of the fellas that worked on It, and it's just like we're doing it. We're remaking some horror movies, so this is going to be one of them.
Yeah.
It came out on June 21st, 2019, a few weeks ago. It cost only $10 million, so that was smart. And it has so far made $37.2 million worldwide, which of course is not what they wanted, but with a $10 million budget, you can forgive that shit.
It's true. It's probably going to end there, though. I mean, it's just about done.
Yeah, I don't see them making a sequel to this, but
I don't know.
But I don't see it being a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, Hank. This movie was directed by Lars Klevberg.
Lars Klevberg, people.
Now, who is this fucking guy? How did he get this job?
I thought you were going to tell me.
Some Norwegian weirdo.
I don't know, pal. I don't know.
He made a short film called Polaroid that got a lot of notice a few years ago, and then he made that into a feature, which, as far as I can tell, has gotten no notice whatsoever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. They make weird choices in Hollywood.
Boy, do they. This is probably a case where they liked the short film, they looked at the dailies on this other one, and they were like, yeah, fine, you can direct a Chucky movie.
Well, yeah. Well, this guy was like on Project Greenlight or something. He was like a runner-up.
Was he?
No.
Oh, okay.
he could have been, and it was like, yeah, what about that guy from Project Greenlight in 2002?
Yeah. You know, we definitely chose those two dudes who made the Battle of Shaker Heights over him, but he was still okay.
Yeah, he was fine. Mm-hmm. He's no Pete Jones.
We had him working second unit on Feast.
He's got the horror chops.
Yeah. Okay, so the writer of this film is Tyler Burton Smith, who prior to this only worked in video games.
Sweet.
What are we doing?
We are going for some lower pedigree. I don't know. Very, very strange. And that's not to diminish what people do for video games. I don't know.
I'd like to diminish what people do for video games.
Right.
I've played a lot of video games in my time. I think maybe one or two of them were well written.
You know, I said that because I've been out of touch with video games for 20 years, so I don't want to short shrift.
I'm sure there's more stuff out there. I'm not like fucking Roger Ebert. It's not an art form. Get the fuck out of here. But like, I do believe it's an art form. I've played video games that are artistic as fuck. But this, when is there good writing in a video game? I have played acclaimed video games. I played Red Dead Redemption 2, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's not well written. Get out of here.
Soul Calibur 2, phenomenal. I don't know about the writing.
Was Soul Calibur 2, he said? What's the writing in Soul Calibur 2? It's just people fighting each other.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
The reason there's never been a good video game adaptation is that there's not enough meat on those bones to adapt them.
Resident Evil?
Yeah, look, I love Resident Evil.
I'm asking, are the video games written?
Actually, the Resident Evils I played, which were the first two, aren't poorly written. But I think Paul W.S. Anderson took what was there. I think the movies are better than the. I'm gonna get crucified for that, but whatever. All right, let's talk about Lars Klevberg, and his film Child's Play. Now. How'd you see this?
Okay. So, I wasn't able to see it until yesterday. So, after a long...
Oh, God. I made an effort to see it before Friday, because I was worried it would be out of theaters altogether.
Yeah, well, I had done a little... I could look ahead of time a little bit for the week, and it seemed to be that it would be sticking around. So, I found a theater... in a place called Burlington, New Jersey. Never been there.
Is this where the coat factory comes from?
It might as well be. Took me a little over
What
an
is
hour.
a coat factory? What does that mean?
I assume it's a factory.
They sell jackets there.
Sure.
It's not a coat factory.
Well, they make other types of jackets, right? Like pea coats and London fogs.
But are they making them there?
I would assume. Oh, I see what you're saying. The retail chain Burlington Coat Factory shouldn't be called that because you're just going in there and it's already on the shelf.
That's a crazy thing to call a store.
Interesting.
Okay, go on.
The mattress factory, right? It's another one.
That mattress firm.
Oh, you know what I was referencing? Holy shit. Wow, was that weird. There's a bullshit, terrible art installation museum in Pittsburgh called the Mattress Factory.
Okay. Well, the mattress firm, that always bothered me because I know what they're trying to do. Some mattresses are firm. It's a mattress pun.
Very clever.
But not everyone wants a firm mattress.
I prefer Sleepies.
I think that puts me off. Sleepies? Now that sounds good. I'll have some sleep, thank you very much.
I bought a bed from them once. Yeah. Was in debt for years. Okay. So I'm driving out.
Is that the bed I slept in?
That bed. Oh, I don't remember if I still had it. It was
when we slept
huge.
Together in the Bronx.
Yes. It was huge, right? It was the really big
It was
one.
really big, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Sleepies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, we had enough space for the two of us.
That's right.
It didn't get homoerotic even once.
No, it really did not.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of beer was consumed that evening, and
left outside on the welcome mat. I know.
Oh, somebody left me beer. Oh,
it was
me.
us. Yeah, blackout drunk Dan and Henry left sober Dan and Henry a nice present for the morning.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great time, great memory. I want to go to a fancy bar. All right.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I was going to go to have a fancy drink.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I want to go to a fancy bar.
Oh my God.
Great stuff. Okay, Hank.
That was entertaining for us. All right. Yeah. So I'm in the middle of nowhere. I almost hit a possum. I swerved out of the way to spare its life.
Can you imagine if that's how you died? Trying desperately to see the Child's Play remake?
I will tell you this. After the possum incident, there were 2 deer that almost crossed the road as well. It looked like the fucking set of the Cornfield and Signs. I mean, where I was. And
or Song of the South.
Talk about what?
Or Song of the South.
Yeah, very more apropos. I did say out loud, this is true, whilst I was driving shortly after the possum incident, I said, the shit I do for this fucking show. Then it turned out, all of a sudden, like a fucking oasis, I am in this little sort of town, if you'd call it, and there's this astonishing movie theater sitting up on a hill. It's a Regal, and it's gorgeous, and it's like an old school theater. So it's like, but it's a multiplex, so it's like maintaining the old school kind of feel with like the nice Greon, shitty lights, and yet it's a part of a Regal. And I gotta say, it was cheap, and I had some points. I got a cheap popcorn and a Coke, and I had a great seat. And
I love what I'm hearing.
And there were 6 people in the theater. And guess what? I sat down. I got a great seat. 6 people in the theater. 2 more people come in when the previews come in. Where do they sit, Dan?
Right in front of you?
Right behind me, directly. So I got up. And you know what? I have to say, so I'm sure they're listening, they were a very lovely couple. They weren't going to disturb me. But I was just annoyed on principle.
Sure.
Don't sit with me. You know. So I moved to a handicap spot that had railings on it. So it was a single seat, blocked off by bars. So it was almost like my little area, my little loge. It was very nice. I laid all my shit down next to me. Nobody in front, behind, or beside me.
Love it.
Pretty nice. And that was it. And I saw a few decent previews. Yeah.
What'd you see?
I saw something that I thought looked pretty good, even though I got real nervous when I saw that executive producer was Guillermo del Toro. But he apparently didn't have anything else to do with it. Some movie, I don't even know, the title was really long. It was like a horror movie, like Scary Stories.
Oh, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's based on a book that was popular when I was a kid.
Okay, and I thought that looked pretty decent. I'd never heard of it, never saw a trailer for that. What else? You'll probably jog my memory.
I see the same fucking trailers every time I go to the movies now. I see Hobbs and Shaw.
I didn't see it this time.
I see Oh, what's coming up this fall? I see that fucking Tarantino. I'm sick of the Tarantino trailer.
I saw a long extended version of that I hadn't seen before. Yeah. The first trailer I'd seen where they'd actually put Charles Manson in the clips.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so that must have been fresh off the celluloid. But
I think I saw that Bad Kids.
that was there, and that was intolerable.
I think it looks funny.
Yeah. Well, you might.
Yeah, I'm kind of down for that one.
Christ.
We'll see. Looks better than Booksmart.
Smart.
Booksmart.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that. No good. Sorry.
So tell me your theater-going experience.
All right. Well, it was only playing after 10:30 p.m. In the city, except for one theater on Linden Boulevard, sort of like deep in Brooklyn, in the projects.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I should mention my showing was at 10:05. I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Great. Okay.
Go ahead. Continue.
No, I found the one showing that it was actually a matinee. And I went to go see the movie, and I walked up to the theater, and there was nobody working there. I could not figure out how to buy a ticket. And no one was willing to help me. No one was. There was like one lady who was like ripping tickets, and she wouldn't. I was like, I know that you're ripping tickets, but where do you buy them? She wouldn't tell me, so I just had to sort of walk through, and I like finally like saw a guy that was like he seemed to have freshly bought a ticket, so I went over there, and I got it, and I gotta tell you, this was a disgusting theater, but the one positive I'll say, it was such an old shitty theater that no assigned seating.
Yeah, mine didn't either.
That's great. I haven't seen that in ages.
Oh, see, I try to go to the ones without that, but yeah,
those don't exist in Manhattan anymore.
Really, they're all gone. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame. Okay, well, that's a bonus.
So Henry?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a technical malfunction just now, but I think everything's all right.
Oh, boy.
It was just because I was walking around. Sometimes I get up and walk around with my microphone.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like I'm fucking Dane Cook.
Podcast in the round.
Oh my God! Remember when he did that bullshit?
I turned it off.
It was called like Vicious Circle.
Yep.
Oh, Dane. He's dating a 19-year-old now. Shout out to Dane Cook. So, anyway, Henry, I got to sit where I felt like it, and there were only two other people in the theater.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah, so it was all right.
All right. You reminded me of...
But it was impossible to get out of there. Like, there was the nearest subway was like a 15-minute walk.
Oh, my. Yeah, you reminded me of that David Cross joke about standing in line for the tickets for the beer and standing in line for the beer, and he doesn't know which line to stand in. When you were saying that,
right. Is this the line for the beer or the line for the tickets for the beer? I don't know, faggot. That's the joke. I don't know, faggot. What did I ask that warranted that level of hostility?
Oh, I listened to that entire stand-up routine recently.
I've listened to that so many times. I know it by heart, pretty much.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy.
All right. So let's talk about the movie. It is it's a departure. Okay, so Apple has just introduced a new product. It's called Buddy. I'm sorry, the Caslin Corporation, but it's Apple. Okay. Or it's Amazon, whatever. It's one of those. And so this is a new... I'm very confused about what this is. I want clarification on this. All right, it's called a Buddy, spelled with an I, like an iPad or whatever. And it is a high-tech doll. And it's like, to me, what I thought the movie was trying to do was set this up as like a version of like Alexa or Siri.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, I have to ask you, did you know going in that it was this type of take on it?
No.
And not as... Okay, I did. I had read one review of the movie, and the guy said that, so I was like, oh, okay. But I was still open to, all right. Yeah, so I did know. I knew there wouldn't be any soul possession, but...
I steered clear of that. I mean, I'm open to them changing it. I just... God damn it! All right, I'm sneezing.
Yeah.
All right, listen.
I'm not.
It is not Child's Play. I'm sorry, this is not a remake of Child's Play.
I agree.
You used the character names and stuff, but what Child's Play is about is a serial killer who possesses a doll. That's the hook of Child's Play. It's a possessed doll.
Yeah, I think they're listening. The screenwriter, I don't know if they knew this, so you might be helping them out for the sequel that might happen.
That's not what this movie is about. Now,
nope.
Once I got over that, I was okay, and I tried to just grade this or, critique this as a horror movie.
Same here.
Has nothing to do with that for some reason is using the character names from the original Child's Play.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah.
Odd choice for this non-Child's Play horror movie.
I couldn't get over it, but I had no choice. It's not, I've said this many times, not the movie. I didn't make the movie, so let's see what they're going to do.
Okay, I want to talk about Buddy just on a fundamental level. Now,
absolutely.
Why is this product being sold? Who is the target market? Because to me, this is a high-tech thing. Like, this is the kind of thing where it's like, turn on the TV, turn off the lights. It's like an iHome, where it like... like those smart houses?
Yeah, of course.
That's what this is. Like, Buddy is like the hub of a smart house, telling you, get me something from the refrigerator, right? That to me is what this doll does. Why then is it a cute little doll?
Exactly.
All right. Why does it seem to be that kids are clamoring for this like this is a Tickle Me Elmo?
Yes, exactly. That's what was going through my head actually right away into the movie. When fucking Tim Matheson is giving his little, presentation, I'm going...
FYI, always happy to see Tim Matheson.
Me too. I was thinking, this really seems like kind of a toy for, like, an adult. And not
it's like something they should sell at the Sharper Image. So much so that, like, when there was that big action sequence set in a toy store, I didn't realize it was a toy store at first because I was like, why is the toy store selling this?
I didn't either. I thought Zed-Mart was just like a fucking Kmart or something that sold everything.
Also, the doll's terrifying looking. All right? From the start. It's not the original Child's Play. It's like, oh, what a weird-looking doll, but I guess it's kind of cute, and it looks like a kind of doll they sold in the 80s. Now, this is a movie from 2019. This doll's horrifying. If this would be the most fucking product-tested product. Like, they must have had thousands of focus groups to figure out what this product would look like. How did they end up with, creepy ginger kid? That's what we're going to go with.
We're going to make his hair long and slicked back, and we're going to make the eyes gigantic. It's funny you say that because that's one of the... It relates to a massive problem with the movie, and there are many. But the original Chucky doll, is, I think... by standards of the time, and just is a cute doll. He's very large, which creeped me out, but
yeah,
I brought that up on the first episode. But he is, overall, it's nothing that iconic. I mean, it's just a doll. It just looks like a regular, very generic doll. It's cute.
It looks like a Ginger My Buddy.
And the thing is that why it becomes terrifying is because of Brad Dourif's voice. And its
weird little legs running around.
Yeah, and its facial expressions. So if this doll is going to be given such a in-your-face appearance and can emote so freely, almost to a human capacity. And by the way, some real bad CGI in this movie. We still can't figure out how to make a doll look like that. Oh wait,
I didn't think it was that bad.
Don Mancini did it.
That wasn't a problem I had.
Well, that's very low on my list. But the whole thing, I'm agreeing with you in that the doll itself is just I'm less on the look of it for me than in what it does.
This is a product. I take great pains not to use the word toy. This is a sharper image, Apple Store product that fucking it must cost $1,000.
At least, I was doing that in my head. I was thinking about it, like, what would something like this cost?
And this is what they came up with for the look. So right away, like, this movie hasn't even started. We're still in, like, exposition. And I'm already, okay, this movie doesn't make sense.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree.
Okay, so now here's part 2. The reason that the Chucky doll that we are going to follow in the movie is possessed is not by a voodoo master serial killer, which is fine. It's 2019. Do something more realistic. Whatever. Although, it's got to be a possessed doll if it's going to be a Child's Play movie. Possessed by something.
Not original, though. I mean, that's the problem with what they did. It's just a mechanical thing gone wrong. We've seen it a million
that's the thing.
times.
That's the thing. It's what we have this weird setup scene set in fucking Vietnam where some rogue Vietnamese factory worker is sabotaging Chucky dolls so that they're evil. And it's like, and all he's doing is like putting it, like he's taking things from the chip, like he's implanting a chip in the Chucky's doll's head. It's removing like any empathy or like whatever.
Everything, yeah. And then he kills himself and just wants to.
So like all we're doing in this movie is like the killer in this movie is a malfunctioning toy.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. You're right.
Which, like, and remember in the last movie, I said, like, Mancini has to, like, come up with something for us not to just say, just throw out the doll.
Right.
This fucking Chucky doll, there's 1,000 red flags before he kills anybody. First of all, he's returned to the store by some other woman. So, like, she knew what to do. She returned the fucking doll.
It's really creepy. It has red flashing eyes. Can I get my money back? Sure.
So Aubrey Plaza, who's in this movie for some reason, brings the doll home.
I love her, but it was weird. Yeah, it was weird.
She's great. I thought she acquitted herself fine in this, but it's weird casting.
I agree. It was just an odd choice for her. Maybe she was just trying to.
Maybe she wants to be like a more grown-up actor, so she took a mom role.
Sure,
that's fine. And of course, she has a kid with hearing disabilities because that makes we're just fucking at this point in 2019. All we're doing is I feel like spit on by screenwriters. Like I can't care for a kid in a movie unless he's got fucking hearing aids.
Yeah, and that's the problem too. Is that a better movie, a better written movie, even this movie would have set that up as having some sort of weird electronic payoff at the end. But it means nothing.
Or like had some kind of scary moment where he can't hear anything. Like, they set up that Kristen Stewart character in Panic Room that she has like she needs her, what is it, insulin?
Diabetic. I think she's just diabetic.
Right, she needs insulin. And so that's doing is setting up something later in the movie where she has like a diabetic attack, and that's like exciting. In this movie, it's just like, care about this young lad. He has hearing aids.
Yeah, that's it. Not it's going to come back in the end to help him, or hurt him, or no, it's there.
Why not just make him a trans kid too, so I can extra care about him? Go ahead.
Hey, These filmmakers are super fucking hip, man.
Make him a fucking trans kid with hearing aids who's getting bullied. I mean, whatever.
Throw everything in there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Having said that,
and maybe he has Down syndrome and is an aspiring singer. Then we can have him sing a lovely song.
Yeah. There's a movie I'd drive to Burlington to see.
So Aubrey Plaza takes this fucking high-tech thing home.
Blackmailing her boss, right?
Right, because she knows that her boss fucked somebody that works there. Okay. I mean, it's such a throwaway thing. It literally is just the screenwriter. How does she get it home? The boss fucked somebody.
There you go.
So she brings the thing home for Andy, and Andy opens it, and he gets to be friends with the doll. All right? Now, before the doll kills anybody, he's being a total creep, and Andy catches him choking his cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I came home and saw some fucking weird household appliance that I bought a week ago trying to murder my cat, guess what I'm doing? Throwing it out. Guess where I'm not throwing it out? The fucking garbage chute in my building.
You might take it to the recall factory.
Everyone in this fucking movie, they throw something down the garbage chute and they're like, problem solved.
Severed head, gone. Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking bananas how thoughtless this entire movie is. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You're with the cat, and then what's going on? He watches some.
Well, he makes friends. He makes friends with two of the most annoying children in the world.
They really, really are. They were actually going to get my LVP, but now I'm a little.
One of them's getting my LVP.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure now, but wait.
The only thing that's worse than a little fat boy is a little fat boy who thinks he's funny. This fucking fat kid. His name. First of all, the character's name is Pug. All right, and these kids are just running around this building, and this stupid. I hate this fat kid. He's just making joke after joke, and he's. Yeah. I mean, it's horrible. You know what he reminded me of? You know that fat kid in Magnolia who's on the game show with the kid?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Fuck that kid.
Yeah, man. He's really bad. His I
hope I never see you in a movie ever again, Tubby.
He's probably in that one you want to see, Bad Kids or some shit.
Oh, right. Maybe he is. No, I think those kids are younger. They aged up Andy in this movie.
Yeah. Now, that's what I wanted to say. I did think, and that's what I was starting to say, you don't hear this from me often. You do hear it, though. I thought this kid was a good actor.
Oh, the main kid, Andy?
Yeah.
I got no problem with him.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tricky thread to go on there, and I think he was pretty good. I mean, I was impressed with the shit material he was given. I mean, I bought his little. I mean, obviously his actions are ridiculous, but I bought his emotions and the way the kid. Just the performance. I thought it was a good performance. I didn't think he was outacted by.
Oh, he's fine. Anyone. He and Aubrey Plaza have a good mother-son rapport too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Detective Mike.
Oh well. Detective Mike he lives down the hall from Andy, and he's played by Brian Tyree Henry, who his breakout role was in Atlanta, but now I see him in everything. He's getting a lot of really good work, really talented actor, and really likable here, and he's my MVP in this movie.
Oh, all right. Wow, I was actually going to give it to the kid.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cute. So Aubrey Plaza's dating this asshole Shane,
Yes.
and so the kid is like trying to spend as little time in the apartment as possible. Fucking been there, dude. And so he makes friends with this detective down the hall, Brian Tyree Henry, who is taking care of his mom, Doreen, I think.
Yeah.
And she's very good too. She's the only character in the entire movie who dies that we are supposed to like.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Everybody else, I mean, Shane is an asshole to Andy the entire goddamn movie, to the point where it's like, Aubrey Plaza, are you not seeing this? It makes the Aubrey Plaza character come across dumber than I think she's supposed to.
I agree. She's no Catherine Hicks.
No.
I mean, for sure. Yeah.
And so he to add insult to injury, we like find out later on that he's actually married and is cheating with Aubrey Plaza.
Right.
And so when Chucky kills him, we could just have a real nice time watching it. It's gotten to the point where in old horror movies in the 80s, like, you got killed if you weren't a virgin, right?
Right.
Or if you were like a teen drinker. Now, to get killed in a horror movie, you have to be like a rapist, right? Or a fucking terrorist.
Yeah.
You know, like, because there's the other guy in this movie that gets killed ultimately. He's like the super in the building. And then, like, we see him, like, look at Aubrey Plaza a little creepy early on in the movie.
Another repellent character.
Right, so I'm thinking, like, all right, he's going to die because he looked at her creepy. And then, again, we can't just have him be a creepy guy. We literally have to have him, like, we see him, like, looking at spy cams in, like, tenants' bathrooms or whatever.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I agree.
He gets a pretty brutal death, though.
Pretty brutal.
Table saw.
Table saw. And a bunch of knife wounds too, I think. And but here's another issue. This was a problem too. I mean, all right, man. Look, they're coming together. They make this movie. They're obviously, we all know the weight behind this. You know, the legacy, all this stuff, right? They get Mark Hamill. Okay?
Yeah.
I couldn't, for the life of me, understand his take on this doll.
I thought it was not bad, but
His voice doesn't change. There's no toy voice. It's the same voice.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very, very odd. And I think if you take out... The whole thing is, if you take out the evil in Chucky, and it makes it more of an accidental malfunction, then when he does turn angry and get possessive, it's much less believable, and therefore Mark Hamill, you know, he's not doing anything.
He doesn't modulate. Because he's supposed to just think he's a toy who's best friends with Andy the whole movie. When he kills people, ostensibly he's doing it because he loves Andy and those people were mean to Andy and so they should be killed. Right. He thinks he's doing his job. And so there's no modulation whatsoever. It's just sort of Mark Hamill as a toy. And that's not that interesting. So Mark Hamill, who I think is like one of the great vocal performers, like
I know, and I know you do, and I only know him as the Joker, but sure, yeah. He's considered that, right, by everybody to be.
Yeah, I think so. And I just think like his performance in this movie is fine. It services the movie, but I mean,
I expected more.
It's not exactly an iconic horror killer.
No, it's not. And I gotta say I expected more, if not from the movie, at least to like hang on to something. I was like, ooh, well, at least when he turns, you know, it'll be something he'll try to relish something. You know, there's kind of it's almost an under the radar. It's almost like so under the radar that I just kept thinking of Brad Dourif. You know, how he's just so crazy in that voice performance and so original.
Yeah.
So
I watched these movies out of order this week, Henry.
Oh.
And so I watched this, and then a couple days later, Cult of Chucky, and it was such
You broke the golden rule. I almost had to do that, too.
Yeah, but they're so divorced from each other that it didn't matter at all. The only thing that it did was make me extra appreciate Dorif when I was watching Cult.
That might have been why you perhaps, I don't know if you did, but maybe liked Cult a little more than I did.
That is probably what's happening, yes.
Yeah. And so that was an issue, too, for me. Mark Hamill, I just don't get it. I thought he would be having, like, the time of his life. And
I don't think he's exactly allowed to. I don't think that's the movie.
Yeah. I mean, you could be right, but it was another big problem. And, yeah. I mean, I'll just call it out. I mean, this movie fucking sucked.
You know what? I'm not quite there, Henry. I thought it was an entertaining movie. If this was not called Child's Play and it was some random fucking horror movie that I caught, I might have enjoyed it. Because, like, it's not like this movie. Because, like, I enjoyed, like, Truth or Dare. Like, remember that movie?
Well, yeah, but, you know, that's the problem.
And it's not like this is much worse than that movie.
Oh, no, I agree with you, but it is a Child's Play movie, so that's very important, and it's and say what you want.
You have to get past that. There's things I appreciate. I think this movie's making big swings, and I like that. But
I don't appreciate a movie taking big swings just because they're big swings. I mean, if they don't pull it off, I mean, look, what I mean is, you say what you want about the much more poorly reviewed remake of, Friday the 13th. I thought that was fucking awesome.
The Friday the 13th remake is better on every conceivable level. I agree with that.
And I didn't watch that movie thinking, oh, well, this would have made something else good, but they shouldn't have made it Friday the 13th.
But this is better than the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated that. Yeah. I mean, but, so that was a big problem. I mean,
here's a big question, Henry. Is it better? Yep. Is it better or worse than the Rob Zombie Halloween?
It's better.
I agree.
Yeah. It's better.
I agree.
I agree with you. I mean, I don't have any, horse in the race. I didn't walk out being like angry or disgusted or that I had watched a movie that had completely wasted my time, but I still objectively thought it sucked. I mean,
yeah. I hear you.
I mean, I already, as I do with every franchise we cover, I realized what I will watch again.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't watch this again. If I had to, I would for something, but I wouldn't. I mean, this is an unnecessary bastardization of a cool character. And having said this, I haven't given anything above besides Curse, I've given 2s and 3s to every film. So, I mean, it's not like I love the series, but as we've said, it's a hell of a lot of fun. So
yeah, these are fun movies to watch, and I can see myself rewatching this movie again at some point, but I'm not rushing out to do so. I know Logan B. Adair, our benefactor for the Child's Play franchise, did like this movie. He gave it a 4, so I hope this isn't disappointing him. But I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a 2.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1.
Oh, really? I think it's a far cry from a 1, to be honest. Too much about it works for me to give this movie a 1. But whatever. I'm not going to give you too much shit. My MVP is, Brian Tyree Henry. My LVP is that fucking fat kid.
My MVP is Andy. My LVP, I had a tie. I think I'm just going to go ahead and break it, especially since it's the one I wrote, and I feel even stronger about it than I did before. That's going to Lars Klevberg.
Okay, Lars Klevberg.
Yeah, and the other reason I'm giving it a 1 as opposed to a 2 is that I want to do. I know I say this a lot, but I'm trying to. This time, I'm really trying to not equate
all of the ratings. So, I mean, this is not even on as entertaining or on the level of Bride or Seed or, so this is the first time in the series I've given a 1, and it's bad. Bad movie.
It's bad. Okay. Let's rank the franchise.
I'm ready.
Okay, me too. I got my list right here. What is the worst Child's Play movie?
The remake, Child's Play.
Okay. I went with Child's Play 3.
That's my number 7.
My number 7 is the remake.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know what to expect with this, by the way. Number 6 is Seed of Chucky.
That's my number 6.
Wow. My number 5 is Cult of Chucky.
That's my number 5.
Jesus Christ. All right. My number 4 is Bride of Chucky.
That's my number 4.
My number 3 is Child's Play 2.
That's my number 3.
My number 2 is Curse of Chucky.
That's my number 2.
And the best Child's Play movie is the first Child's Play.
We had the exact same list. We just swapped the remake and Child's Play 3.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, it's close. I could totally see why you did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. I'm sure that people are a little surprised I didn't put Curse of Chucky as the number 1.
I was a little surprised.
I thought about it hard, and I really did realize that I was thinking about that first movie a lot after, and so I had given it 3 at the time. I'm still sticking with 3 stars for it and 4 with Curse, but the whole thing is so great in what it started and all that kind of shit that it's the best Child's Play movie out there.
All right, we're going to give the first one extra credit for being the first in this case. I understand that. I think it's just a better movie, but
Curse, yeah.
Okay. Very fun covering these movies with you, Henry.
It was, man. I have to say.
If Don Mancini does that TV show, will you watch it?
I'd watch an episode. You mean for the show or on my own?
Both.
Yeah, I'd probably check it out. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I hope that happens, or at least, you know what, a TV show, whatever. I just hope that Don Mancini gets to make more Child's Play things.
I agree. I think that played into also my rating and hatred of this. But, So I do have a 5 count on the superheroes.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
Mark Hamill, obviously, Joker in 1,000.
Right.
He played Dr. Willard Euler in Ultimate Avengers 2.
I saw that.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, he's in there.
Yeah, it's like this animated. It's actually, if you like Black Panther, that is a weird animated direct-to-video movie that is surprisingly Black Panther heavy.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
He played Professor James Arnold in Kingsman Secret Service. I don't remember that at all.
I don't recall that either.
No. And, of course, he was the trickster in the 1990 series The Flash.
And reprised the role in the current Flash.
Oh, did he?
He sure did, a couple times. And he played Cockknocker, the villain to Blunt Man and Chronic in the movie within a movie in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I do remember that very much, yes.
Yeah.
It's a bad movie.
All right.
You like that movie?
It's funny. It's a bad movie, but it makes me laugh out loud pretty consistently.
All right. Okay. This one surprised me, but won't surprise you, because I didn't watch it, really. Aubrey Plaza was Legion.
Oh, that's right. She has a big role on that. She's actually really good on that show.
Yeah, she plays Lenny Busker.
Right. She's sort of like the Shadow King, though. That show's tough. Like, she's sometimes the villain. She's sometimes like a mental patient. She's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Number 3, Brian Tyree Henry played Jefferson Davis in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that is Miles Morales' dad.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Brian Tyree Henry from other shit, Henry?
I know
He
him
was
from Widows.
right, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I think he's very good in Widows.
And I've watched Widows 3 times. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I said when I saw Widows, I think I even wrote it on Letterboxd, was this is the type of movie I feel like I'll watch a lot.
Oh, it totally is.
Yeah.
I mean, I had bought it first on a Google Play. I couldn't wait to see it so badly because I was so upset that I didn't see it in the theaters. So then I bought the Blu-ray, and then I've watched that twice. Yeah, it's fucking very watchable. Yeah. And weirdly, Brian Tyree Henry, and I like this, and I remember this from the trailer, he is in the new Joker movie.
Oh, okay.
They don't say, of course, what he's doing. They haven't really given anybody, credits. But yeah, he's in that. He's in the trailer. So, all right, 2 more to go. Tim Matheson, who I must have done this when we did Fletch. But that was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right. He is in several Batman things. Batman animated series, he played D.A. Gil Mason. In the new Batman Adventures, he played Michael Vreeland. In Justice League Unlimited, he plays Maxwell Lord.
Oh.
And Batman Brave and the Bold, he plays Jarvis Cord.
Okay, yeah.
Maxwell Lord and Jarvis Cord.
Well, Maxwell Lord is the head of Checkpoint. That's like a big evil corporation in the DCU.
All right.
And also, yeah, fucking Matheson. He's also
like
the Vice President John Hoynes on The
right.
West Wing. Thank you very much.
A superhero if I ever saw one.
Sure.
Last is another time. This is another Zach Santiago situation. The boyfriend, asshole Shane, in this movie is played by an actor named David Lewis.
Very boring. I thought he was pretty bad. Not as bad as that fat kid, but bad.
No. Yeah, I mean, he played an asshole pretty well. But, yeah. And on another time, I don't know what happens here, but Smallville. Yeah, don't know when, but he was in Smallville.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay, great. All right, well, fun stuff, H-Dog.
Yes. We closed that chapter, but that was very fun.